weird at this moment. Let's have somebody who has it. Somebody who's going to wait till we get a new hand or a not as shared. Can you share? Yeah. All right, come on up.
The one who hasn't been here for like 3 weeks, too.
Robin.
Okay, as a reminder, the intention of the Breakthrough Series is to unleash your natural ability to cause and expand breakthroughs on demand. The intention of tonight, to leave you living from
Say it how it is.
intention of the session, to leave you living from a concern for what is possible.
Awesome. Great, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go through the assignment from last session. So the assignment was to select one or two ways of being that displays possibility and practice giving up those ways of being. Then you were to select one or two ways of being that you could create that would generate a world of possibility and practice bringing those ways of being to every aspect of your life. So the critical part of the assignment was to bring ways of being that generate possibility to your life in the moments and circumstances where there is no possibility present. In other words, when you're experiencing that something is clearly wrong, you are to continue to generate possibility. So, let's have a couple people share. So, who would like to share what you got out of that assignment? Yeah, let's start with Meredith and then Diana.
Okay. I don't get up here very often either. Hey, so this weekend, on Sunday, I got up and I was just kind of like in a funk. I mean, I don't know what else to call it, like a funk. I was in a funk. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a bike ride. I did my like normal, let's fix it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling thrilled. Like, I have two ways of being. If you're around me, I'm gonna pick a fight and be a bitch, basically. Or if I'm by myself, then I just like try to go, like I go for a bike ride, I go for a hike, I like don't sit still, I just have to like keep moving and doing stuff, right? So I got up, I picked a fight with my husband, and I was like, I'm going for a bike ride, peace. I was gone for like 2 hours, came back, picked a fight with my husband, and then I was like, oh, I don't like being sad. And I was just sad for like no reason. I don't know, girls can relate to this, right? And my husband doesn't necessarily get that. I didn't even get it. I just started off with my normal context of like, okay, well, I'm gonna be angry or try to fix it.
Yeah.
And when I realized it, thankfully I'd already picked a couple fights, but I took a step back and I just was like honest with him. I was like, hey, I feel really like sad for no reason. I don't know why. And this is like my kind of my act too, showing up. Like my act is really much like you, like, and then I'm out. Like I'm gonna go run away from that.
Yeah, I mean,
And it
perfect.
was
But go on a bike ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went up to Evergreen and went for a hike, and then I went to my parents' house, and then I eventually came home. So yeah, I was really working that.
Yeah.
But it was a huge realization, and then we had a really good conversation from it, which was nice. And now I make a choice.
Yeah. And what was that conversation? Was it cleaning something up?
Yeah, I
or-
definitely cleaned it up with him, and I apologized for letting my act basically run the show, not making a decision about it, just acting in a way that wasn't going to draw us closer together, or really had anything to do with him. I was just using this like a punching bag.
Right.
So I cleaned that up with him, and I was also really open with him about it. Where a lot of times I wouldn't really be open about it.
Mhm.
I just kind of like throw it under the rug.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, sorry, yeah, I was kind of being a bitch. My bad, you know.
Good.
I'll do better next time. You know, not really like own up for how it's really behaving and like where that puts him. Like, it's like, oh, what do I do? I don't know how to make you happy, right? Like,
So actually, so this is really good. So can everyone relate to, you've got your little way, like your little trigger, you go do what you do. Some people drink, some people go hike, some people watch TV, some people do whatever they do. There is some way we just don't deal with what there is to deal with. And so we got that, and you saw that at play, like, man, I went on a bike ride, I went hiking, went to mom's with this, da-da-da-da-da. When you cleaned it up, what was said? Because this is a critical piece, because you can have realizations all day long, but until it actually gets cleaned up with somebody and acknowledged and communicated, it will make no difference.
right.
It'll just be another really cool, fascinating thing, or you'll be on your next bike ride, like, oh, I'm doing my thing. Isn't this interesting?
Yeah.
But the relationship's the one that's important,
Right.
and the growth is the one that's, you know, something that's clearly important to you. What did you say to him?
I said, hey, I just sort of realized that, like this morning I woke up feeling sad, and instead of just either explaining that to you or just being okay with it, I went to sort of my normal way of dealing with it, which was just be angry or pick a fight,
Yeah.
or then to like run away from it. And I realized that the impact that has on you and our relationship is that it drives a wedge between us. Because you feel like you can't do anything right, or you're just trying to make me happy. But there's nothing you can do in that moment because I'm playing into this whole context in this act. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
And then that just drives us apart.
And what do you say?
He's a man of few words. It's just like, okay, thanks. And so I just kind of said, well, I want to create the possibility that in the future, that I'm just open with you and accepting of myself in the situation versus having to fix it or change it.
And what did he say?
That's cool.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
So what would you say? Would you say that something got created there?
I would like to say yes, but yeah, but I need to be like, there needs to be some consistent.
Yeah, you gotta
follow
demonstrate
through.
yourself and all that.
Yeah.
How many people have had the experience, like you've gone, you've cleaned something up, and they're like, people are like, okay, that's cool, like, you know, or it's just like a man of few words. They don't say much. Anybody have that experience? Alright, so you really don't know. Like you don't know, did this get in? Did it, I don't know. He says, okay, cool, okay, thanks. Like we really don't know.
Yeah.
So you want to actually dig in and pry a little bit. And look, it's not for, in one sense it's for you, for sure. Like that's a big deal, you're sharing your life, you're sharing it in authenticity. But this relationship, like what's the context of the relationship? You said what, you want to be honest, but what's the context of this relationship?
The one that I'm operating in, or what?
What you want to create?
Oh, so we did talk earlier in the week after last Monday's session, because that was kind of a big thing that came up, a different context.
Yeah.
I know what Ellen kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
And at that point, we did have a really good conversation, and I said I really want to create for our relationship that, oh gosh, my brain's not working, but that we're open and accepting and connected.
Yeah.
And that we're a couple that really contributes to elevate our community. And I feel like we had a really good conversation from that.
Yeah.
I've asked him in different ways, like what he thinks is possible for us, or
Yeah.
like what he would want us to be, or even just what he would want himself to be.
Yeah.
And he has not done the forum, but he really can't come up with anything. and so I'm a little bit stuck, and I got a little bit of coaching from
Kara?
Kara.
Yeah.
About it, and that was definitely helpful. We had like
Yeah.
more, like open conversations
Yeah.
about it.
But here's a good indication. And when I say this, it's not like there's anything wrong with it, but this is an indication of what's so. Does Meredith, would you say she's alive in this moment?
I'm kind of tired, but yeah.
No, don't play that. That's just,
Yeah.
you're not alive in it. And it's because that enrollment didn't get complete. Because if you just shared your heart out, and you're like, look, this is what I do when I woke up sad and then I escaped for a whole day. Like, that's kind of weird. Not weird that it happens because he's used to it and all that, but if you actually look at the fundamental of a human being, I'm sad, I feel angry, therefore let me go ride a bike and go hike. And be away from my husband, be away from people, escape, go to mom's, go to wherever's comfortable. And then you see the inauthenticity of that, and you go to share that with somebody, and you share, and it's like the experience of not being heard, or you question, like, are they getting this? Are they listening to me? If your context of your relationship is being open and being a couple who contributes to the planet, or whatever it was that you created, that's where you want to have your stand. And I don't know what you would say, but there would be something to say inside of that. It's like, look, I just shared that with you, and you just said, okay, cool. Do you understand how big of a deal this is for me? Do you know what, it actually takes something for me to share this with you. I've spent so much of my life just being my act where I'm F you, I'm out. I don't want to be out. I want us to be something big. This is a big deal that I'm sharing. What do you have to say about it? What do you, I don't know what you would say, but what would you say if you're really being in the context of that you and your relationship is you're open, you're people who contribute, what could you say inside of that?
I think I need to share with him how hard it is for me to be open and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Especially in like deeper, more committed relationships.
Yeah.
And that I have always kind of pieced out, whether I've actually left or just sort of like distanced myself. And that it's super scary and
Yeah.
a really big deal, even though he probably thinks I share all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not maybe sharing in this really deep, open way.
Yeah. Because you have an intention behind your share. It's not I'm just saying stuff.
Yeah.
Here I'm just saying something out of realization. No, this is our relationship. I say things, I don't know if you're listening.
Yeah.
I know I share with the group leaders, but my wife is phenomenal at restoring and completing things. It's one of the things that maybe I shared in the last session. I don't know, but when one of our first dates, she called me the next day and completed. She's like, I felt like it was a little weird, or there's something that got awkward. And it all got complete, and I just thought that was so weird. Nobody, weird in a cool way. I've never been on a date where somebody then comes and completes something. People don't do that. No, it really was a little weird. And that weirdness, there's no more of that weirdness when we would go date. And if something else came up, we get it complete. But now when she completes things with me, it's she makes sure I get it. Because the way I wound up being, I'm like, okay, cool, thanks for saying something. Whatever. It's cool, you're awesome. But she makes sure I get it.
So what did she say?
I wouldn't even look at what she said. It's not like she goes and says something. It's just she makes sure that what she's sharing gets heard. How do I know? Well, I respond normally like her husband. Okay, cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I want to be. Somebody comes, completes it. Just the fact that it gets said normally completes it. But she listens in a way that I wanna make sure this gets complete.
Which I think what I'm hearing from what you're saying is like, there's not a lot of power behind what I'm sharing right now.
Yeah.
And so nothing is really,
Don't
that
worry about the
possibility is
power.
not necessarily, like I'm not stepping into the possibility, kind of like.
Don't worry about the stepping, then you're gonna get all,
Oh,
philosophical with it or whatever. I have to feel this way, I have to really feel it, then I can go complete it. No, it's behind the context. It's the context in which you're operating. You can see, is this me, when I shut down, did I go right back into the context of this is where I run? I said my words, he had his response, therefore let me run. And the conversation, things are cool. Or am I a stand for being open, being vulnerable, being powerful, being people who contribute? And you might cross the line and whatever, but so what? You're already suppressed and you're not alive after you've already shared. But this is your opportunity, like, no, look, this is a big deal. Our relationship is a big deal. It is a big deal, and when I've come to clean things up with you, I say something, I have no idea if you hear me. You don't really respond, and then I just shut down and go off again. And I did the same thing that I was telling you about. I really want to make sure that this gets complete, or whatever English way of saying it, since he hasn't done the forum, but like, this is important to me. Asking questions, like, you see, can you tell this is a big deal, or how do you see this impacting our marriage? How do you see this show up?
yeah.
So just share with us, what are you getting, what are you seeing? We could get you're impacted by this.
Yeah. No, I'll share and then I go kind of back to the context, especially if I'm not getting maybe the response I was expecting.
Yeah.
So he says, okay, cool. Okay, you want a sandwich or,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I hesitate to like ask more questions later or bring it up
Yeah.
again later or like ask him, like I don't really take a stand for him to be here tonight. I
Yeah.
really let him off the hook, like even though I've asked him to come.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just like
More of the
it's kind
same.
of run away from.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of come if you want to.
Right. You should.
Yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
to. That's fine. It's not that important.
Right.
Yeah. Let's go hike later anyways.
Take the dog for a long run. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost killed our 14-year-old Beagle on Saturday.
Oh.
She was fine. She's
Yeah.
not ready. She's fine.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Hello. I really enjoyed this assignment. I thought picking really specific ways of being to give up allowed me to identify ones that weren't the ones that I chose. So I had a really tough week between health stuff and some romantic turmoil, and spent like a couple days really sad and feeling sorry for myself, until like 11 o'clock this morning when I got out of bed. And it might sound like a small thing, but I went to a yoga class, which was a really big deal because I got surgery a couple months ago and I've had this health stuff, and like I haven't done anything like that. And it's really scary to go do that right now because my body's all whacked out. Like got my ass out of bed and walked to a yoga class where I did half of the things, but it's still good to be there.
So what was the context, or what were the ways of being you gave up?
The ways of being I gave up was being negative and shit talking, which neither of those were really
To people or to yourself?
about people, but
Talking about people
talk-
to other people?
just and not like it's so major all the time, but
Right. But
you know,
that's
just
like-
like, oh, that asshole on the highway, like whatever, any little minor thing.
Okay, so either out to yourself and to other people?
Just to other people, I hadn't thought about me to myself.
Okay.
Part I hadn't thought about until just this moment. How much should I talk about myself to myself?
Uh-huh.
So this did, the just like being sad and lonely and feeling sorry for myself didn't to me fit into the category of just of negativity. I mean, it's, you know, it's not positive, but it's not like actively being negative about something. It's just, it was just being sad, which is, I feel like, is a different thing.
And then what did you create?
But just to finish that up, the fact that have been training my brain to recognize those things is how I like realized like, oh, I'm really comfortable in this sadness. Like this is, it's not easy, it's hard, but it's like easy
Yeah.
to let myself stay here
Yeah.
and like, you know, cry for a while.
Right.
Or angry clean for
Yeah.
4 hours. My house is really clean. So the possibility that I created is one of healing and strength. I don't think I thought about it so much when I did it, but that is
Yeah.
what I did.
That's what opened up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good. And by the way, the go. Oh, there it is. There you go. So it's not that men don't get sad. Don't get bought off on that. Like, oh, women get sad, and then we have more evidence because here's a woman and she says sad. Men, you know, or I mean, this is just the fundamental nature of humans, but most likely men will create not being sad. There's a sadness underneath, but it'll show up as anger. And of course, be macho and do whatever we do, but there's that sadness there. It just might show up a little different. You know, I think I went like 10 years of my life without crying until I did the forum. I mean, there's some spurts, but nobody could see. But I couldn't cry. Like if I cried, then I get made fun of. So don't cry. Just bottle up and then just be angry and angry and angry. So just so you know, you're not getting bought off like men don't get sad. We're equally as inauthentic as human beings. So, all right, anything else?
I also realized I wasn't reaching out to any of my friends because I was scared that they were sick of my familiar way of being, which is like being needy and wanting support, is how I perceive them to perceive me.
Okay, have they said that to you?
No,
So nobody said, Diana, when you call me, you're being needy and,
no.
okay.
But I know my familiar way of being, and I'm sick of it, so I just like assume that everyone else is sick of it.
Yeah.
So
So consider that's more of the same in the context. In that context, where you're sad and you're angry, and what was the other part? Basically, you're just fixing what's wrong there, but you're, what was it? Sad, angry,
feeling sorry for myself.
yeah, feeling sorry for yourself, and then saying things about people. In that context would be that would show up inside that context, like, oh, I could reach out for support, but, you know, I'm needy and blah, 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 blah. That's all in that same context. Versus if you're healing and being powerful and being whatever else you create in a context, then it would be natural that, okay, I could call somebody and then I could actually just acknowledge. Like, hey, when I call you, normally I call you feeling needy, or like you might think I'm being needy, but that's not why I'm calling you, you know, or I just wanted to say that to get that out of the way, because that's just what I'm thinking. Is that really the case when I call you? Or can we just talk?
So I called someone.
Okay. And then what happened?
So I called my best friend / ex-boyfriend, and basically told him like, I'm sitting here in bed feeling sorry for myself, crying, and not calling you because I don't want you to think that I'm needy. And you know, basically he was like, if I saw you not doing anything differently and just doing your same shit and being sad, it might be annoying, but as long as you're doing things differently and trying to move forward in your life, then I'm 100% here for you at all times.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's an
It's pretty
awesome,
encouraging.
awesome support structure there. Awesome. All right, great, thank you. Okay, so go ahead and turn to the person next to you and share. And where you want to share is share what you dealt with and what you accomplished out of doing the assignment. And if you did not do the assignment, then create what will will you be giving up as an ineffective way of being, and what will you be creating? Take 2 minutes each. I guess somebody's sitting there. Take 30 more seconds and then you'll switch. Switch. Go ahead and switch. Okay, take 30 seconds. Okay, start to wrap it up. And acknowledge your partner. Okay. All right, so now we want to address a critical question for being human. The question is who are you committed to being in life, and what kind of life are you committed to living? Another way you can look at it is, what is my life for? So here's the bottom line. Unleashing your natural ability to cause and expand breakthroughs will require you living beyond business as usual. Now, living in a world of breakthroughs will require an alteration in who you're going to be in life. So let's start by being who you are from a unique perspective. Now consider that who you are and who we all are is someone who is constituted as a set of concerns. People tend to think of themselves as a complicated phenomenon. I was hoping that would hit home. Very special. Wish we could drill that in just a little bit more. Like, you are just a boring, simple, little clod of a human being. Makes things up. Makes people wrong. Alright, that one offended. I saw some of you go. But consider that you and I, when you get right down to it, you are completely given to be who you are by the set of concerns that you're living from. Now, when I talk about a concern, I don't mean a worry. And rigorously, I mean the set of concerns you are is given by who you are. Let me actually add the key word there, is by being who you are. So by concern, I mean something that someone has their eyes on, or their attention on, or what they're interested in. So let's first look at what human beings are already and always a concern for. So just get present to your life, and if you look at your life and your day-to-day, the way you go about your work and your relationships and your conversations, look to see what's automatic for you. Like, what are your automatic inherited concerns? So let's actually, Anna, or stand up, please.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, and that's a concern right there, and it'll be automatic. Yeah, Zeta.
Does the concern have to be a negative thing, or can it be a positive thing?
Could be a positive thing.
Like,
Stand up.
one of my concerns is like I want every conversation that I have to have with a
Uh-huh.
and walk in and like, how are you? Like, what's the great thing?
Yeah, so you want people to be happy. Now, has that been automatic for you for a while, or is that something you created?
It's been something that I created out of the form.
Okay.
I was like, I'm a very happy person and I have a lot of things.
Got it, yeah. So look at the automatic, like something that was already there, it wasn't created, just like when you go about your life, and you're not doing any real thinking, or there's nothing authentically created, what's automatically there? Yeah, stand up.
The need to be heard, so I feel like somebody's not actually listening on the feeling and self.
And that would be the perfectly correlated, you just say the same thing, like not being heard. Yeah, Luke, stand up.
Am I being genuine in this interaction with this other person?
Is that what it is? Like, am I being genuine?
Yeah, am I authentically caring about this person's transformation or what they're wanting to get out of this conversation, or am I just here to look? That's pretty good words for it.
Okay. So without it being created, what's automatically there is to look good. Do I look good in this? Do they like me? Or how else does that show up?
How else does that show up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of how it shows up in a different set of words other than looking good.
Well, just look at
I guess the
don't
words
look
is,
for the answer.
So the
It's-
words is then like literally that I have is like an internal battle is like I don't care
Uh-huh.
what this person is saying.
Yeah.
That's how that shows up.
Yeah, good. I don't care about what they're saying because what's the concern there? Like, are you concerned for getting out of this interaction? Are you considered, like, it's so perfect. But just look, what is that concern?
I'm not wasting my time.
Good, yeah. You have a concern, like, is this person wasting my time, or is this whole thing a waste of time? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you live your life, is this, yeah, go ahead.
Well, and then is it more so an investment of my time now, whereas I may not be caring about this interaction,
Yeah.
however, it may pay dividends down the road?
Yeah, okay, good.
Right.
So concern for, maybe another way of putting it, like, will I get anything out of this?
Exactly. Completely. What's in it for me?
Yeah, what's in it for me? Perfect. I like how you do that, right? Yeah. What's in it for me? Yeah. All right. See you later, person. Or you stay here. I like you. You're no good. Nothing for me. Boom. See you later. You. Yeah. That's life.
What's your number?
Yeah. What's your number? Yeah. Yeah. Pretty good. All right. Good. All right. Let's have a couple more people. We'll acknowledge everyone at the end. Yeah, Chris.
I don't know if it's right. Self-determined, I think shows up. I was asked recently.
Here, share with them.
Oh, I guess that would be nice. No, self-determined. So I was asked recently if a part of what I do in my training, they asked if I was a motivator or that I try to influence people through my training. I said, no, not at all. I just show people exactly what I do because everything I do is just self-determined. Nobody inspires me to get up in the morning. I just go about it. I self-impose goals on myself. So that's it.
So what's
the
that?
natural state of being?
But what's the concern? Like when you look at your life, so we get that, you don't need anybody to tell you what to do, you just go about it. But what's the concern that you are for life as you go through life? What's your view of life? When you have a conversation with somebody, what are the concerns?
The concern is the lack of enrollment in others to participate. So I just do it alone. And so it's tough to try to run for goals and you're the only one there at the finish line.
But so we get that, so we get how you're on your own and we get the determination, but then when you're talking to another person and they're not enrolled in what you're up to, what are you concerned for? Like, what's the concern? But just look, just get present to your life, because you can see how it's like, we got this self-determination, we got like, this is Chris throughout the day. I mean, I feel like we just see Chris, it's just like, he's the guy walking fast down the street. He's the guy who like orders a coffee and you probably, what's that?
I said it's because of long legs. That's why I'm
Yeah,
walking.
there you go. Sure. But we can see, like, there's the life of Chris. You're going about your day. What are you concerned for? You're clearly determined, but what are you determined about? Like, where are you trying? Are you trying to get somewhere? I know physically, but like, where are you trying to get in your life, or what? What's this determination for? And then you keep shaking it. No, just get present and look. Like, actually do the looking. You can probably see there's like a determined. What's going on right now? Like, what are you concerned for?
I don't know the answer.
And then therefore, I don't know the answer. So therefore, what? Concerned for how to
Don't know.
stop the conversation or sit back down in your chair.
That would be,
But really, like, what's there for you? Is it, let's just end this? Or I need to get the answer and,
I don't know.
no more I don't knows. But just be present. There's no right answer. We don't know the answer here. We're just looking at Chris's life. There's some set of concerns right here. What are you concerned for? Like, what do you have your attention on? What are you trying to get? What are you looking for?
I'm going to say I don't know without saying it.
I know.
I'll say it in another language. You understand?
Because I'll tell you, like, your you're hard to be with. Like, I don't have the experience of Chris being present. It's like you're getting somewhere. There's a determination. You're agreeable, you get that. You're an asshole, right? Yeah, so like there's a concern, like it's not a worry, but it's what's important to me. What do I have my attention on? Lou is in an interaction with a human being. He has his attention on what's in it for me. Should I ask for her number? Is she interested in me? Or, you know, I'm sure there's other ways that comes up in Lou's mind that is probably being said. But it's what's in it for me is a concern that he's going through. What was yours, Hannah? Yeah, she's got a concern for, am I in trouble? So if a boss calls her in, there's the automatic already concern of, am I in trouble? Or I don't know if you're a good driver or not, but maybe a police car. When I used to smoke a lot of weed, I always had the concern, am I gonna get in trouble? There's a police car behind me, you know, but it was like there. It wasn't, I didn't create it, it was just there, because I was, for myself, a troublemaker when I was younger. That was the conversation, so I always had a concern for, how do I escape this, how do I not get in trouble? Automatic, always there. Hold on. So, what do you see?
Concern of failure.
Yeah. And say more about that.
I think that that's one of the reasons that I try to be a freight train is that if I'm not stopping, nobody notices the mistakes I make along the way.
Yeah.
So that concern that if I'm going that fast, that nobody will notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stay busy.
That- Yeah. Yeah. So you go about your life and you can see you're fundamentally concerned for proving that you're not a failure, or what else?
Just that I'm making an impact.
That's probably, you know, when you get authentic about it, but we don't even have time for that. Because if you fundamentally for yourself are on this path to prove that, how did you say it though? To show I'm not a failure? Yeah. So you can see Chris going about his day proving to you he's not a failure, but fundamentally for yourself, you are what? You're a failure.
Oh.
Otherwise, you don't have to prove you're not. I mean, do you go through your life proving that you're a man? You don't have to, do you? Pretty obvious Chris is a man.
I'll say.
There's a sexual harassment policy. But you don't have to. It's like, you don't go through like, guys, no, I am a man. I am a man. You don't have to prove that. If somebody went up to you on the street like, hey, you're a woman, you okay, it's kind of weird. I don't know why you said that, but I'm a man. But if your parents call you, or somebody you work with calls you, and they're like, man, you are a mess. You're screwing this whole thing up, man. You're in last place. That's evidence for you being what?
A failure.
Yeah. So you are driven to go about your life concerned for proving you're not a failure. I mean, you can see your actions. You know, you just look at your daily actions, how you go about yourself, probably what you wear. You know, you come here, you're like the successful one. I'm in a suit, front row and center every session. I got you guys. I'm the group leader. I'm a successful person. See? See? I'm gonna go so fast, I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know so I can sit down, because if you expose me, man, now these people know. Let's say, I don't know. Let me sit down. I'm cool. Let's end this thing.
Sure.
I know, but I look, and I just so appreciate the authenticity. Like, really. Really. That's the power there. We have enough people proving all their nonsense. Proving that there's something. You know, one of the things as seminar leaders is we've got to get, like every session, I get oriented around that I'm the biggest asshole in this room. Really. I'm the most inauthentic human being. I know I have no integrity. My life doesn't work. And it's there as a creation. Because if I get up here acting like I've got anything together or I have life worked out, it's inauthentic. It's completely inauthentic. You go talk to any forum leader, no forum leader is going to tell you that they have 100% integrity. Or better said, they won't say that they keep their word 100% of the time or that they're perfect or anything like that. Now we could honor our word 100% of the time, but nobody's going to pretend that we've got it all together. So it's refreshing, you know, to have authenticity and the vulnerability like that. Because how many of you could see yourself in Chris? That's the concern. That's the already existing world of the concerns that we are. So thank you. So after you boil it all down, what you will see is we are fundamentally concerned for, and what we're fundamentally concerned for is what's wrong, what shouldn't be, being right, looking good, and making it. So I'll say that again. What you will see that we are fundamentally concerned for is what's wrong, what shouldn't be, being right, looking good, and making it. Now as you look at the automatic and inherited concerns, one concern is strikingly missing. So what do you think is a missing concern? Yeah, raise your hand so we. Yeah, John?
What is possible?
Oh. I didn't know if people would get it that quick. What's possible? What is missing is the concern for breakthroughs and possibility. What is missing is a concern for breakthroughs and possibility. Human beings don't live from a concern for breakthroughs and possibility. That's why your whole life has been destined to be about looking good, making it, being right, and dying. And dying. And that is the completely predictable life of a human being. And what is predictable for human beings is that they will accomplish a bunch of stuff. And we're going to fail at some stuff and never be satisfied. So living a life of possibility and breakthrough requires being given by a completely distinct set of concerns. So if you get present and you set aside the inauthentic ways of being, your inauthentic concerns, what are some concerns you could actually create? Yeah, Lou?
Create the possibility of being impactful and causing transformation for people I love.
Yeah. And to be straight, that'd be very different than being concerned for getting late. Some of you are why? It can exist inside of a context, but it doesn't have to be there as the automatic inherited context. Now, sometimes I'll take it a little too immature for some of you. All right, so what are some of the other ones that you could create, authentically create? What else you got? Is that tough to create? Yeah, Skylar, stand up.
The concern for, like, do people feel heard, loved, appreciated?
Yeah.
Instead of, am I enough and am I better?
Mm.
Yeah.
Am I enough or am I better?
Instead of trying to be, you can appreciate others.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And hold on, and that was be concerned for people being heard, appreciated, and loved, or what was what you said?
Heard, appreciated, loved. Those are
I
the
might have
three
got words
elements
mixed
right now.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be in order, but yeah, that's what having that concern. That people are appreciated, loved, and heard. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so acknowledge everybody at the end. Nobody listens, you never have, never will. I know, I put my hands up to make fun of Sierra, and then that might have helped too. All right, what are some of the other concerns? Yeah, Sandy.
I just thought about this, and it's about concern for feeling feelings. And that's the opposite of my other concern was running through the day. Running through the day, getting through the day, so I don't feel
Yeah,
what I really feel.
yeah, yeah,
So if I have a concern for feeling my own feeling, it gives other people the space to feel it as well.
yeah, yeah,
Instead of running, just doing a lot what Meredith does, or hiking,
Yeah.
or walking,
yeah.
whatever else I do.
And look, and not to even diminish the walking or the biking, but rather than it be a reaction to something.
Get away.
Yeah, and to avoid your feelings or whatever's there for you. Or to try to escape. You know, I remember, you know, I was looking at my business a few years ago, and I had it pretty delegated. Didn't make much money, but I could go throughout the day and really have no idea what happened in the business, or like would just forward emails and had a couple people kind of running everything. And then I would look at my actions throughout the day, and I would look at the actions from a context of what is my life for? And I would sit there. And usually it's like, okay, I say I want to be wealthy, I say I want to have this money, say I want to grow this business. If I actually look at my life, what my life for right here in this moment is finishing the season on Netflix. You know, like,